In 1817, John Bell moved his family to Red River Bottom, Tennessee, to start a new life. He built a beautiful homestead, and all was well until one day, John Bell and his son John Jr. encounter a strange-looking creature. What follows is an abbreviated account of the most famous poltergeist haunting in American history. The homestead no longer exists. This is how it looked in the early 1900s. John and his son encounter a strange creature. The creature is described by John Bell. It appeared to have the body of a dog and a head that appeared to be that of a rabbit. This is definitely a description of an elemental. An elemental is a nature spirit that takes on animal-like or terrifying appearance. Elementals usually have an offensive, sickening odor, and they allegedly possess supernatural powers. It could not be killed. John Bell shot the thing several times but could never seem to kill the animal. The animal would appear and then disappear many times. At night, the Bell family began to hear loud banging on the walls of their home. This led to other phenomena over time, witnessed and verified by many neighbors and even clergy. The Bell children began waking up frightened, complaining that rats were gnawing at their bedposts. Not long after that, the children began complaining of having their bed covers pulled from them and their pillows tossed onto the floor by a seemingly invisible entity. The phenomena escalates. With the violent episodes still escalating, the Bells made the difficult decision to speak with neighbors and share their incredible experiences. Their community was small, and sensational news like this would travel quickly. But the Bells also felt compelled to seek the wisdom and spiritual guidance of their minister. When Reverend James Johnston and his wife visited the Bells to cleanse the farm, they too were slapped, hit, and subjected to loud noises. John Bell suspects hostile neighbor Kate Batts is behind it all. They began to call the witch Kate. Kate Batt denies the allegations and scoffs at John Bell. Family members are tormented to the brink of madness, continually being subjected to loud, hysterical laughter, taunting, loud banging noises, being thrown out of bed, other mishaps, and general bad luck. A future president gets into the act. General Andrew Jackson even tried to visit, and it is said that before reaching the farm, his entourage was attacked, violently causing the general and his men to depart, vowing never to return. General Jackson was reportedly quoted later saying, "I'd rather fight the British at New Orleans than deal with the Bell Witch." Betsy Bell is targeted by the witch. As time went on, the Bells began hearing faint whispering noises, which were too weak to understand. Sometimes they thought they heard something like a feeble old woman. The Bells' youngest daughter, Betsy, age 13, began experiencing brutal encounters with the invisible entity. It would pull her hair and slap her relentlessly, often leaving welts and handprints on her face and body. The voices also became louder and then became only one taunting voice. The witch takes out her wrath on John Bell. Eventually, the witch Kate lets up on Betsy, but turns her wrath on John Bell. John suffers from a mysterious and painful ailment for 2 years before finally succumbing on December 20th, 1820. At the funeral, the witch is still taunting John Bell. Then Kate leaves, but not without an ominous message. In April of 1821, the witch visits Lucy Bell and tells her it would return in 7 years for a visit. 7 years later, in 1828, the spirit returned as promised. Most of this visit centered on John Bell Jr. Of particular significance were the spirit's predictions of events such as the American Civil War, the Great Depression, and both of the World Wars. Years later, John Jr. wrote that Kate came back once more, somewhere near a cave. People began to assert that the witch set up residence in 1935 in what is now called the Bell Witch Cave, which was once part of John Bell's property. Nothing was ever proven against Kate Batts for being the actual perpetrator, as John Bell decried many times. Old newspaper article and replica of John Bell's gravestone. Some say John's wife, Lucy Bell, was the real culprit and poisoned John Bell. They speculate John was molesting Betsy. See the movie An American Haunting. Was the Bell Witch a poltergeist spirit? Poltergeist means noisy ghost in German. Poltergeist hauntings involved objects being thrown, loud banging, thumping, victims levitating, bad smells, and other chaotic phenomenon. Poltergeist is never usually seen, but is said to be a destructive energetic entity created or caused by an agent, usually a pubescent child. Was it Betsy all along? The Bell Witch case does have the earmarks of poltergeist activity. Most poltergeist hauntings last only on average about 3 months. This was an exception. We cannot say that this was a true poltergeist haunting. There were, however, many credible witnesses.